Hey everyone, before I begin, I just want to say that I cannot stand loud neighbors. Seriously, no matter where I move, there's always some jerk that likes to throw loud parties until 3 in the morning. So with that being said, the title of this movie got my attention immediately. Destroy All Neighbors is a little horror comedy that recently came out on the Shudder app, and this movie almost completely slipped by me, so I'm glad that I got the chance to see it. At first, I was expecting it to be just another dumb, straight-to-video monster movie like Sharknado or something, but no. This is a real comedy. This is a real, legit horror comedy. The story follows an aspiring musician named William, played by Jonah Ray. He lives in his crappy apartment trying to record his own progressive rock album, but he is constantly disrupted by his loud, trashy next-door neighbor, Vlad. William tries to resolve the issue, but he accidentally ends up killing his neighbor, and when he tries hiding the body, he ends up killing all these other characters along the way as well. And every time that he accidentally kills someone, they keep coming back from the dead, so it's kind of taking plot elements from An American Werewolf in London, or that movie Idle Hands with Seth Green, but personally I think this movie is actually funnier than Idle Hands. The character Vlad is played by Alex Winter, who some of you might know from Bill and Ted, and he was also one of the original Lost Boys as well. Here, though, he actually plays two separate characters. They tried to pull like a nutty professor on the makeup effects because, first, he plays the obnoxious neighbor Vlad when he's wearing a ton of makeup, but he also plays a lawyer in one scene, so it's a bit weird. But I think his performance as Vlad is one of the best parts of the whole movie. This character is honestly one of the most obnoxious yet hilarious horror movie villains I've seen in a long time. He's just a total maniac from start to finish. At times I forgot it even was Alex Winter underneath all that makeup. Jonah Ray was not that bad in the lead role. He's very awkward, whiny, yet he is somewhat relatable with his struggles to finish a passion project and yet also dealing with annoying neighbors. Like, I can personally sort of relate with that type of character. Kieran Deal plays Jonah Ray's on and off again girlfriend, and she was also good. Unfortunately, she did not have that many scenes, but still, she did a good enough job with the material that she was given. And then the crazy homeless guy played by Christian Calloway was also hilarious, screaming about his croissants. And then you had the two weird guys at the radio station. The whole cast was great. They're all hilarious. All of the characters in this movie are just crazy and messed up. There's even times when they'll introduce a character who seems like they're going to be a voice of reason, but then you find out that they're just as messed up as everybody else. I think that's probably the best part of the whole movie, is that the characters are just so unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen next. There's one scene where Jonah Ray is fighting and arguing with a security guard, and the whole back and forth between them was just insane. I cannot remember the last time I laughed this hard during a movie. It reminded me of like something out of Bad Santa or something. The movie does have fun with its cheesiness, but it's not too schlocky. What I mean by that is, the movie is less akin to a typical straight-to-video flick and instead feels more like an R-rated version of a Nickelodeon original movie. And that might sound negative, but the quality actually does work in the film's favor. You can tell that the makers were more interested in putting on a show instead of just slapping something together. I've seen plenty of independent films that try to capitalize on how cheesy they are, but the problem with all of those movies is that they don't even try to be entertaining. But this does. Most of the effects are fake looking, but it's like you can tell it's supposed to be intentional with how silly it is. I mean, even just from the title, Destroy All Neighbors, it's a parody of classic B movies. One of the undead characters is a charred corpse that looks like the Crypt Keeper, and the animatronics on it are actually pretty good. And then there's another one that's just a pile of like mangled blood and guts, and the intestines come alive like a set of tentacles. There's even a scene where the intestines are playing a drum set, and you just have to see it. It is absolutely ridiculous. I think part of the spectacle is that the movie is obviously low budget, but they still use all sorts of practical effects. Like, if this was a mainstream Hollywood movie, it would be all digital. One problem that I did have with the movie, though, was the whole musical aspect. You can tell that the makers wanted to give it a catchy soundtrack, but sadly, the only song in the whole movie that I sorta liked was the one during the opening credits. There were times where it almost sounded like the same song over and over throughout the movie, and then the grand finale song was especially underwhelming. It's supposed to be a prog rock album. The film makes a big deal about this, but when we finally hear it, it just sounds very rushed. I would not even call it prog rock just because of how short and forgettable it is. I just think that more time should have been put into the soundtrack. I think that a lot of filmmakers overlook the importance of music when it comes to movies, especially when the movie revolves around music. However, I think the movie's biggest flaw is the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it's a real letdown. After enjoying the beginning and the middle, when you get to the end, you expect more, you want more, but instead the ending is just a total buzzkill. It's not even like a twist ending, it's just a complete downer. But thankfully, those couple of issues did not ruin the rest of the movie. I'm not going to deny this movie's flaws, but the goal of a comedy is to make you laugh, and it made me laugh. The cast did a good enough job, the special effects stood out, so I think the positives actually outweighed the small negatives. My rating for Destroy All Neighbors is a 7 out of 10. It's not a movie for everybody, but it still succeeds at being a fun parody of B-grade monster movies from the 1980s. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you next time.